Today I'm going to teach you how to make the easiest charm that you can make that's from my store, which is the bow cherries. This is so cute and aesthetic. You can put it on your purse, your wallet, your keys. All you're going to need is 62 red beads, which is 31 beads on each side, and anywhere from 30 to 35 green beads for the stem and bows, as well as clippers, pliers, your fishing line string, and potentially a 1.9 millimeter crochet hook. The one I'm making right now is going to be my table decor because I'm using giant beads, so not really good for keychains. But if you are going to make a keychain, you're going to need a keychain too. First, you're going to start off with 5 red beads on your fishing line. You're going to take one side of the line and go over the last bead that you put in. You are going to pull your fishing line tight, so then now your beads look like this, a 5-star pattern. You are now going to be using your right side string to now add on 4 red beads. And from now on, when I say loop them together, it really means take the other side of the string and you are going to pull it tight, of course, to the other bead, so then now it looks like this. Every single time when you make a pattern, you have to make sure it is tight, otherwise it will be loose. And you're going to use the fishing line that's closest to the other beads to loop through one bead for this round. You are now going to end up with something like this, and you're going to use your other string to now add on 3 beads in order to make a 5-bead pattern, because there's already 2 beads on the line technically. You're going to do the same thing again, take the fishing line closest to the beads, and you're going to loop it through 1 bead, and then using the other string, you're going to add 3 red beads, and you're going to finish off this row just like that. Now you're going to come at an end where now it's like a low U shape. So instead of going over 1 bead, you're going to go over 2 beads to connect the first and last bead that you just made to close that gap. So right now, since you already have 3 beads on the line, you add 2 beads. Once you pull that together, you should get like the semicircle thing. Now you're going to loop the string that is going down to the bead right next to it in order to get that V shaped. You still need a 5 pattern here, so you're going to go ahead and add 3 beads, and you are going to have this pattern out. Now you're going to continue doing this for the rest of the circle, which is cross over 2 and then add 2. At the very end, you're going to see this. So instead of crossing over 2, you're going to cross over 3, connecting the last pattern with the pattern that you're just on now, and then add 1 bead to the 4 that's already on the line, and you just completed your final 5 pattern for the first cherry ball. Moving on, you're going to take your longer string and you're going to go ahead and start adding your green for the stems. This is a little bit more customizable, so however long you want your stems to be, just add the same amount of beads. Obviously, the more beads, the longer the stem, the more beads, the bigger the bow. Just remember, whenever you do your bow, you're going to take your very first bead that you put on, and then you are going to take the same string and then loop it through that first bead. This does not include the stems, by the way, so make sure you separate that, and then you pull it and you end up with this little thing. And then on the same string, you're going to add the same amount of beads for the bow part, and at the same bead that you circled through earlier, you're going to go ahead and do the same thing using that, because that will be considered your first bead for the bow. Make sure you pull this tight so then the bow isn't loose, but don't pull it too hard so your string breaks. Using that same string, you're going to add the stems. This is how it should be looking right now.